Hey everybody, Melissa here. In this video, I'm going to show you how I make this little solitaire prong ring. This happens to be a 6mm peridot. I wrapped it in brass wire, but you can use any size stone you like and any wire you would like. But I do suggest that you start off with some cheaper wire first until you get the hang of it, because it can be a little stressful. So just keep watching and I'll show you how. Alright, let's get started. The tools you'll need, usual suspects, flush cutters, flat nose pliers, chain nose pliers, round nose pliers. A ring mandrel is a must. Let's see, I'm gonna wrap this 6mm peridot. 5 to 6mm would probably be the smallest. I haven't tried anything smaller than a 6mm yet. I have a request for this ring in brass to make a peridot in gold tone. You can use copper, silver, whatever you want. Today I'm going to use 22 gauge square, and the size ring is a 10, so I'm going to cut off 3 lengths of at least 6 inches. I want to have plenty of wire available. Any ring smaller than that, you can get away with 5 inches, or anything like smaller than a 6 or 7. Probably do great with 5 inches. Larger than that, probably go up to 6 inches. I'm cutting off 3 lengths of the square wire. I suggest practicing with cheaper wire first with this design. Take some practice making prongs. That's why I have brass wire available, because I used it for practice. You're also going to need some half round wire. The only brass half round I have is 18 gauge. You can definitely use 20 gauge. I'm only going to cut off like 3 inches or so. You don't need too much of the half round. First, I want to line my square wires together. Kind of straighten them out and line them up next to each other, nice and snug. I'm going to want to mark the center. I have a ruler down below here out of sight, so mark the center point. Let me put a clamp on these to make these guys behave themselves. I just want to flip around in my hand. Next, I want to grab some painter's tape and kind of secure these wires together. All I want to do is twist on me. I want to keep my center mark showing as a guide. All right, now I want to take my mandrel. I want to make about a size 10. Gently shape this guy around the size 10. Problem is the mandrel tapers, so it's difficult to keep your shank even. What I do is I kind of keep flipping it around, hopefully keep a nice even shape. One edge of your band will want to be bigger than the opposite side. Okay, so next I want to interlock these wires. Bend them up a little bit again. Separate those. Do them one at a time. Get that guy in there. And that guy in there. Okay. Bring back my mandrel. Center mark on the bottom. So right at the size 10 here, I'd like to mark them. Okay, so I'm going to grab my binding, my half round, and I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to start binding my ring here Since my stone is so small, I'm just gonna put just one bind, 1 or 2 binds across, since my stone isn't very wide. Let me pull this through. I don't want that binding very wide because my stone tapers to a point and I want the prongs to follow that taper up. Let me check the size real quick. Still pretty good. Okay, this is what you have now. Next, you want to start building your prongs. You're going to build your prongs depending on how big your stone is. So each ring, each stone is different. You want to bring the prong up the side of the stone, but you want it to hang over the edge of the stone. So you kind of got to measure that all out. The prongs I'm going to make with the outer wires here. I'm going to kind of lift them up and straighten them out. Give them a lift, kind of give them straight and even. Lift straight up from your bindings. Kind of like a corner 45-degree angle. Okay, so I got my stone here. These come in handy too, these calipers. You can just use a ruler as well. Ruler. The sides of the stone are about 3 to 4 millimeters. And your prong length should be about 5 millimeters. Give that extra millimeter for prong to hang over the side of the stone to hold it. So you can go to each one and kind of mark 5 millimeters. They should all be about the same. You don't want your prongs to be uneven. So I think my marks look okay. The prongs are the most stressful part. Then you got your other wires in your way, so you gotta be conscious of where your other wires are and which direction you're gonna bend your prongs. Each prong is gonna bend towards the outside of the ring. Let's get started. So I'm gonna grab my mark and I'm gonna bend it right above it. Just like that, towards the outside of the ring here. I'm gonna start bending it nice and tight. Try not to pull it out. It's okay for it to start bending at the base because you're gonna need to make another bend in it anyway, so you can make that second bend on the side. Make sure you don't pull it out this way from your shank. So down in here, yeah, you're gonna bend it back out again. So there's one. Let me do the opposite corner because that's gonna be like kind of the same bend, bending that direction. So I gotta bend that outward. Kind of eyeball it. They look like they're the same. Gently squeeze and gently put that second bend in it at the base. Okay. 2 down, they look pretty even. These two are gonna bend the opposite direction. Actually, before that, throw it on the mandrel. Make sure our size and shape are still good. Okay. Now always remeasure too. Sometimes the shank will get a little misshapen. Start your prong. Always keep checking to make sure it equals the other one. All right, so let's gently bend this over some more. Gently bend your prong. Make the second bend at the base. Give it a nice squeeze. All right, one more. Looks pretty good. Oh, there's wires everywhere. Make sure you're bending the right way. Bending towards the outside of the ring. This one's wanting to twist on me. Try not to let the square wires twist on you. Bend that up. I'm going to have the ends of these prong wires come underneath these center wires and crisscross. Always keep checking your size and shape. Okay, so next I want to make my little prong ends. I'm just gonna grab the very tip, just a millimeter at the top here. I'm gonna bend it in, try to do the same amount for each one. They're gonna look all cockeyed, but we'll fix that later. Just kind of use a finger to brace it. Okay, so now I still have my bindings hanging off the side. I'm gonna put the ring on the mandrel here. And I'm gonna pull each of the bindings across each side to kind of lock in the prongs while keeping the size of the ring the same. This binding across this way, snug those up. Take it off. Bring it around again. Let those hang there a second. Now we're gonna anchor the prongs. Okay, we got this prong coming around this way. We're gonna wrap it around that prong, bring it through the middle, and bring it around that prong there. Let's bring this one around. That's from this prong. This one goes this way. Bringing all those wires through, it's gonna make it a little crowded, so you might have to make some adjustments. Squeezing this wire over to the side. There we go. All right, all the prongs look good except for this one. Gotta tighten this up a little bit. And kind of grab the prongs opposite each other and give them a squeeze. This is my last loop. I need to snip, so I'm just gonna pull it tight. Give that a snip. Go through and adjust all your prongs. Squeeze them opposite. Just double check that size. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Let me finish these off. Put 3 bindings on each side. Now you could come through and finish this whole band in bindings, but I'm not going to for this one. I'm just gonna leave it plain. It turned out really cute. And then these side guys, you just gotta figure out what you want to do with those. I like to make little swirlies, so I think I'm gonna do that. Let me cut them shorter. Same on each side, I think. Yeah, maybe a little shorter on this side. And then make a nice little swirl. Nice cute one to tuck in on the side. Bring it over to the side. Start twirling. Check the size one more time. About a 10. Perfect. Flip it over, of course. Squeeze on it a little bit to get right up to the 10 mark. Take my tape off. Now it just needs some buffing and polishing. Get all the little nicks out. Okay, here she is, all polished. So this is a peridot and brass ring. Brass shines up really nice, but the problem is it doesn't stay that way. It's kind of like copper where it oxidizes pretty fast, but it sure does look pretty shined up. Peridot will look great in gold fill too. Gold fill would keep that shine a little longer. So this is a 6mm stone, but you can go higher. This is a 10mm stone, and this is how it kind of oxidizes. Antique brass. But there you go. All you have to do is measure out your prongs to the size of your stone. And you have lots of options. So that's it for me, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video.